Never got over you, and never will. Gag me with a spoon. Can you believe this guy? After everything.
For heaven's sake, that's the cold open. We haven't even told the listeners what vat of sentimental treacle we're dissecting today. That line, dripping with unearned angst, is from The Keeper of Stars by Buck Turner.
Buck Turner. More like Buck. Wildly inaccurate star keeping. This book, folks, is allegedly about stars, but it's really about stealing. Stealing plots. Specifically, the Notebook's plot. It's like finding a Rolex on the street that says Rolex on the dial.
While certain thematic resonances with other popular works have been noted by less discerning readers, the premise involves Ellie Spencer, an aspiring astronomer, and Jack Bennett, a small-town boy.
Yeah. Rich girl, poor boy, summer love, disapproving mommy dearest who probably hates puppies. They get separated. Meet later, it's the Notebook. Except, spoiler alert, because I care about your sanity, listeners, her Buck decides to just torpedo the whole thing at the end. He kills her. The heroine. Poof. Gone. After 300 pages of destiny.
Must you spoil the entire narrative arc in the first minute? It's an epilogue detail, a potentially poignant, if structurally questionable, choice exploring the bittersweet nature of lifelong love and...
Bittersweet. It's like spending hours making a gourmet meal and then serving it in a dirty sock. It's romance novel sacrilege. People read this stuff for the happily ever after, not a reminder of, well, you know, the general misery of existence, and possibly pandemics.
Moving on to the characters before your blood pressure causes a studio incident. Ellie Spencer, an academic, driven, intelligent.
Intelligent. She ghosts her dying Aunt Clara. Who does that? She's selfish. Entitled. Annoying. One reviewer called her out for her clutched red lipstick and heels. See. Even her fashion sense is derivative. She jerks Jack around like he's a yo. Yo she found in a cereal box.
She's prioritizing her career in astrophysics, a challenging field for women. Isn't that commendable? She makes difficult choices between professional ambition and romantic entanglement. It's a classic dilemma.
Dilemma. She chooses wrong every time. And Jack. Oh, poor devoted Jack. Who, let's not forget, apparently sleeps with Ellie, while he's still technically dating poor Sarah. What a prince. Ambiguous, my Aunt Fanny. He's emotionally cheating at best. The guy writes a whole novel about Ellie, which, okay, points for effort, I guess. But also kinda creepy stalker vibes, right? Like, I never got over you, so I wrote your biography without permission. Get therapy, Jack. Seriously. He's obsessed. Reminds me of my neighbor Gary and his one true love, who turned out to be a garden gnome he stole.
Can we agree that Ellie's mother is dreadful? The archetypal interfering matriarch?
Oh, totally. Straight out of central casting for rich snobs who ruin everything. Probably irons her money. But does that excuse Ellie ditching her sweet Aunt Clara? No. 0 stars for Ellie on the NISO meter.
All right. Let's pivot. The burning question, setting aside the alleged similarities to other works and the controversial ending. Is The Keeper of Stars actually any good?
Is a photocopy of a masterpiece still a masterpiece? No. It's a photocopy. Reviewers are all over the map. One poor soul wrote, "Am I lacking a soul or something? The reviews are so high, and I just don't get it." I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
Yet, others called it the best romance of 2023, swoony, beautiful. One reviewer praised the platitudes, "Life is too short to throw away love. We are the authors of our own destiny." Deep thoughts from the inspirational Poster Azel.
Platitudes. Those aren't deep thoughts. They're what you find inside a cheap fortune cookie. And get this, someone actually complained the romance was too realistic. Too realistic. In a romance novel. What's next? Complaining your action movie has too much shooting.
That is perplexing. Perhaps they meant the eventual outcome, the mortality aspect.
No. Don't defend the ending. It's a betrayal. One reviewer went full scorched earth, asking if men can even write romance if they pull stunts like this. Why do we trust them to tell the story? She asks. Now, I'm a man. A sensitive soul, obviously. But she has a point. You don't build a sand castle just to kick it over. Especially when people paid for the bucket and spade. It's worse than when you tried to convince me Moby Dick was a cheerful story about whale watching.
It's about obsession and the human condition, oh, never mind. Look, the writing itself is described by some as beautifully written and by others as juvenile and pedantic, so pick your poison.
I pick poison because that's what this ending felt like. If this book were a sandwich, it would be 2 slices of stale wonder, bread with nothing in the middle, served with a side of existential dread.
Okay, time for the verdict. Our highly scientific, utterly arbitrary rating system.
I give The Keeper of Stars 1 out of 10 potential lawsuits from Nicholas Sparks, and maybe an extra point for Aunt Clara. Bless her heart. So, let's say 1.5 out of 10 ignored dying relatives.
And I award it 6 out of 11 shattered expectations. It successfully generated strong emotions, primarily rage and disappointment, but strong emotions nonetheless. It perfectly encapsulates the feeling of being promised champagne and getting lukewarm tap water. A truly memorable failure of genre convention.
Failure, exactly.
Right. Well, that's all the time we have to tear apart Buck Turner's alleged magnum opus. Join us next week on Heartbook Radio when we'll be discussing Chadwick the Chipmunk and the Existential Void. Sounds uplifting.
Chadwick. I bet H.E. gets a happy ending. Probably finds the perfect nut. Unlike poor Ellie. Still mad about that. This was Heartbook Radio, folks. Try not to throw your radios.